Have you ever really stopped and asked yourself what truly has that number one spot in your life? I mean, really? Today, we are going to dive deep into this ancient idea of idols, and you'll see pretty quickly that the things we can't see are often the very things that have the most control over us. So, this command, it's one of the big ones, right? It's stark, it's simple, it's totally absolute. But let's be real for a second. Most of us aren't bowing down to actual stone statues. So, what does this actually mean for you and me today? What are these other gods that are constantly vying for our attention? Okay, here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we're going to tackle a really tough idea, this jealous covenant. Then, we'll get into the idols we can't even hear. We'll look at the classic case of the golden calf, not as ancient history, but as a window into how we think. From there, we'll pinpoint today's hidden idols and ask the big question, do they lead to freedom or bondage? And we'll wrap it all up with 3 pretty powerful questions you can ask yourself. You ready? Let's dive in. First things first, we got to talk about a really tricky word, jealous. You know, when we hear about a jealous god, it can sound, well, kind of petty, a little insecure maybe. But what if, in this context, that word means something entirely different than what we think it means? This right here is the whole ballgame. On one hand, you've got regular, everyday jealousy. You know, the kind that comes from insecurity, it's possessive, it's small. But on the other side, you have covenant jealousy. The best way to think about it is like a marriage vow. It's not about possession, it's about protection. It's an all-in, exclusive kind of love that says, I am 100% for you and I want to be the one you ultimately count on. It's about being our primary source of hope and security. So if that's the goal, this exclusive, all-in relationship, what gets in the way? You guessed it, idols. The problem is, modern idols are sneaky. They don't make a lot of noise. In fact, their real power comes from how quiet they are, and how, over time, we just stop hearing them altogether. Think about it like this. Imagine you move into a new house right next to a train station. That first week, the sound of the train would drive you crazy, right? But what happens after a month? Your brain just tunes it out. It's just background noise. Well, idols work the exact same way. They are these things that just quietly and slowly take up space in our lives until we don't even notice they're there anymore. We get totally desensitized to their influence. So let's be super clear on what we mean by idol. An idol isn't usually some big evil thing. More often than not, it's a good thing. A career, a family, a talent. Something good that we've accidentally promoted to the place of the ultimate thing. It's whatever we lean on for our deepest sense of I'm okay, for our identity, for our meaning. It's whatever's really in that number one spot in our hearts. Now, to see how this plays out in real life, we've got to look at the most famous story of idolatry ever, the golden calf. But let's not treat this like some dusty old story. Let's look at it for what it is, a timeless case study in human psychology. It's about us. So why on earth did they build it? Well, it really boils down to 3 key drivers. First, just plain old impatience. Moses was taking too long up on the mountain, and they couldn't stand the waiting. When we don't get what we want on our timeline, our default is to grab the steering wheel. Second, they misused good gifts. I mean, think about it. Where did these former slaves get a bunch of gold? It was a gift, a blessing. And they took that blessing and put their trust in it instead of the one who gave it. And third, they just copied the culture. Why a calf? Because that's what they'd seen in Egypt. They just defaulted to what the world around them said was valuable and powerful. And here's the kicker. Those same 3 drivers, impatience, misusing good things, and just conforming to culture, they are alive and well today. They just cook up different kinds of golden calves. So what does our world, right now, tell us is worthy of our ultimate attention and worship? Man, this list is long, and look at it. It's filled with good stuff. Your career can easily become your entire identity. Your self-image or appearance can turn into a total obsession. Our phones promise us connection, but so often they just deliver a dose of anxiety. And listen, even the absolute best things, like our romantic partners, our kids, even our pets, they can become the one thing we feel like we just can't live without. Hobbies, achievements, money, all great. But the moment they become the main source of our worth and our security, they've crossed the line. They've become idols. And that brings us to the fundamental choice, the real fork in the road. What actually happens when we put our ultimate hope and our deepest identity in any of these things? Where does that road actually lead? Does it lead to freedom or to something else? You know, there's this predictable and kind of scary cycle that plays out. It starts with a blessing, something good. That blessing brings comfort, which feels great.
But that comfort can slowly lead to compromise, where our focus just drifts from the giver to the gift itself. And that's the moment an idol is born. And the final stop on that train? It's always bondage. We end up being owned by the very things we thought would make us happy.
Here's the fundamental truth about any idol. They always overpromise and underdeliver. They whisper these amazing things, right? This job title will finally make you feel important. This relationship will complete you. This amount of money will make you feel secure forever. They offer this immediate comfort, this quick fix, but they can never actually deliver. They just weren't built to carry the weight of our souls. And in the end, they just take and take and take our time, our focus, our energy, our freedom, and leave us feeling emptier than when we started. So what do we do about this? How can we start to spot these hidden idols in our own lives? I want to make this super practical. Let's wrap up with a simple diagnostic tool. 3 questions you can ask yourself about anything in your life that's demanding your time and your heart. All right, first question. This one is all about direction. Think about that thing, your career, your phone, that hobby, whatever it is. What's its gravitational pull in your life? Is it something that actually helps you connect better with what truly matters? Or is it a distraction that's slowly but surely pulling you away? Be honest. Okay, second question. This one goes a little deeper. It's about your foundation. When things get shaky, when you feel anxious or insecure, what's your gut reaction? Where do you run to feel okay about yourself? Is it your job title? Is it your bank account? Is it the number of likes you get online? What is the real foundation of your identity? And here we go. Question number 3. This is the big one. This is the acid test. Just imagine it for a second. If you felt you were being asked to open your hands and let go of this thing, what's your immediate gut level reaction? Is it a feeling of, okay, that would be hard, but I could do it? Or is it sheer panic? Because that feeling of panic, that's often the clearest signal that something good has become an ultimate thing. It's become an idol. And that, right there, is a question really worth thinking about.